Hello, I'm Jonathan Milam,
And Pamela Milam.
and I usually do trumpet videos, but a couple of videos back, I'd mentioned that I had COVID-19, and one of my friends wrote in and said, "Hey, I actually don't know anybody that's had COVID-19. Could you maybe do a vid and explain your experience?" And I thought that was a really good idea. And my wife thought that was an absolutely fantastic idea. She's been behind this like 200%. Every night she's after me and saying, "Have you made..." Just kidding. She got it too, which is why she's here. But for me, I really did not think that I had COVID virus. I have allergies. And since we moved to Charleston, South Carolina, I think it's been worse. They've got a tree pollen here, a pine pollen, that apparently gives me fits. And I thought that's what it was. Although it was in the fall of the year, usually I have the allergies worse in the springtime when stuff is blooming. But tremendous amount of drainage, a lot of coughing because the drainage irritates your chest, and, a headache. It got to the point I was having chills. So really not all that much different from a really bad virus with maybe a little bit of flu. And I missed a sequence at work. I'm a flight attendant. And, you can fly when you have a lot of congestion in your head. But if you're going to be doing 10 flights in 4 days, you're really taking a chance on your ears. So I called in sick one time. I had to get a doctor's approval before I could come back. And when I went to see a nurse practitioner at a local drugstore, couldn't get in to see my doctor in time, she took my material and said, okay, she tested me for the flu and it came back negative. And then the doctor came in and really gave me the third degree and said, you're endangering us if you have COVID-19 and you're unaware of it. And I really did not think that I had, I did have a lot of symptoms, but they're the same symptoms that work for allergies. So they tested me, and it came back in about 36 hours that I did test positive for COVID-19. And two things that I thought was really very beneficial. The state called me right away to check up on me and see how I was doing, and I was very fine with that. In fact, I thought that was very, very good. They wanted to make sure that I was properly quarantined, that I wasn't going to work. And then American Airlines actually hired separate people that they trained, and they called to check on me as soon as they got word. I'd call my managers and told them I did have a positive test. And they were, I thought, extraordinary. And right before I went back to work, American Airlines, the people that they had hired, they called me again to make sure that I was doing good. And now I did have...
I think you missed something. Not missed something, but when you found out you were positive. When he found out he was positive, and even before that, even though we didn't think it was COVID, immediately when they said you need to go get tested for COVID, we quarantined him. We pretty much did keep him in his own room. He loved that. Let me tell you.
It was me and my trumpet.
Oh, I need some water. Oh, I need food. I need,
Another
so
T-bone medium rare.
He didn't lose his appetite through all of this. No appetite loss. But that is one thing, is that, we did make sure that he was quarantined from the family.
Yes, I was quarantined for days and days and days. They would slide food under the door and make
we
sure that
wanted to by the end.
I told my son, who lives here, I said, they reversed the doorknob. They've locked me in the room and won't let me out. And he said, really? I think he thought it was a good idea. Let's lock the old man up again. But now I would have to say, when I went back, I had a lingering cough. However, not uncommon for me. So much, and my point is, so much of COVID-19 bore resemblance to major colds or the flu. Now, I did chill, which you get the flu, you chill. You get a real bad head cold or allergies exacerbating head cold-like symptoms. I think it can be a lot like the flu. It's kind of hard to tell where one starts or one ends. A couple of years back, I had the same thing. I had allergies. I coughed so hard that apparently I separated the musculature from one rib. And I coughed hard this time, not quite that hard. But Now, the one thing I will say about COVID-19 is I was very tired. There were a few times where I went through 36-hour periods where I slept, not nonstop, but I probably slept 75% of the time. I really did. And honestly, my head did hurt so much I could not practice the trumpet. At which point I said, that's enough of this. But neither one of us have underlying health factors. And as soon as I went back to work, guess who called me and said,
I'm positive.
We're very positive people. She had tested positive for COVID, and her experience was much less than mine. Although I told her, I said, one weekend, I think it was a Sunday morning, we usually get up and go to church. I said, Pamela, you need to check. You need to have a COVID check. You know how I could tell?
Because I slept in.
She slept in 2 days in a row, Saturday and Sunday. I cannot remember her staying in bed with me. Maybe her boyfriends, but not me. But I cannot remember her sleeping in 2 days in a row. And for me, that was the only thing that seemed completely unusual about COVID as far as other illnesses. I was more tired. And her experience has been?
Basically, he came upstairs, said I was working. I had a cold. I felt very cold. I had a fever for 1 day. I worked the whole time. Woke up every morning. Didn't go into work. I work from here, so work from home. It was just like a cold, but we have a son that is type 1 diabetic, so he was like, you need to go get tested. Brendan's coming home. So I got tested, and then they said, you're positive. I had the same experience with him as far as having the state call me. And by the time she got in touch with me, she was like, you're fine. You can, it's been 10 days. You can, go do your thing. So it had... by that time, then I was able to leave the home, go to church, do whatever like that. But I mean, I had a cold, felt like a really bad cold. I was sitting with my daughter a lot of the time. Both of my other daughters got tested. Neither were positive, and we were on my brother a lot, and he got tested, and they were negative. So it was just he and I, the old people in the house.
And we do have a son. Our 3 children are going to school. They're still living with us. We must be very nice. We cannot get them to leave home. We have tried. If you have an idea how to get rid of children,
yeah,
let us know. But
you're the one that wants them here for a lifetime.
That's true. Our son is 21, and he is a type 1 diabetic. Around me and around Pamela, he still never got COVID. And to me, that was amazing. I did want to run over the symptoms. Before I work every day, with American Airlines as a flight attendant, I have to certify that none of these things are affecting me. Symptoms of COVID-19 include fever of 100.4 plus, cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle body aches or chills, headache, new loss of taste or smell. Do you have an addendum?
Oh, yeah. I have no taste or smell still.
And they say it can take weeks or months for the taste of sense of smell or taste to come back, which is fantastic. We're just put her on a water diet since she can't taste anything.
Lost weight, so
we've saved a lot of money. And
Thanksgiving was wonderful.
Yeah, really. Sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea or vomiting, diarrhea. I did want to run through these. I had a low-grade fever one time. I never got over 98 degrees. I'm usually a little cold. They call me a vampire, and there could be some truth. But cough, I definitely did have a cough, but that goes right along with the allergies, which are not that uncommon. Shortness of breath, difficulty breathing. The only time I was shortness of breath was when I was trying to tie my shoes. You got that belly, you bend over, you run out of breath. Fatigue, I did experience that. Muscle body aches or chills, I experienced that as well, which is not that uncommon for any time that you have a serious head cold or flu. Headache, never had much of a headache. I never lost a sense of taste or smell. Believe me, I've never lost my appetite for food. Sore throat, never had a sore throat. Congestion or runny nose, very minor.
Mine was very much. Mine was probably That was the biggest symptom for me, other
Not
than the taste or smell.
nausea or vomiting. I got nauseous a few times, but again, with me, with my drainage from the allergy problems, that's not that uncommon. I never came close to vomiting. Diarrhea, no.
My stomach was upset, but it wasn't anything like that.
So that's
But
been,
thankfully, we just want to say thankfully that it wasn't, and that we're not, demeaning or minimalizing that, some people have obviously, succumbed to greater things than us and even death. So we just wanted to tell our story because someone had asked you on your, your site. But this is our personal experience, and we're just very thankful that we made it through, and really with very, very minimal side effects.
and the one thing too, for those of you that have experienced any of the symptoms that we just went through, it is good to be tested as much as anything so that you can watch your affiliation or closeness with people that might have underlying factors that would make COVID much more serious consideration to them. And I honestly can't think of a whole lot more to say. That's about it. Okay, you've enjoyed the Johnny and Pammy show. This is part 2. We cleaned a trumpet Friday night. My loving wife helped me. She was there scrubbing it just like she does the dishes. She did the camera work there. But we did pass through COVID-19 with very minimal. In fact, she never wanted to get checked. And I probably wouldn't either if a doctor had not come out and said, you're putting us at risk if you don't. But it's good to know. And the one other thing, I slept more after realizing I had COVID. I think because I was depressed knowing that I had it. And that might have been part of the reason that I spent so much time in bed. It is a little bit depressing, but our experience, as Pamela said, was really not too bad at all, for which we're very thankful. Hope you've enjoyed this. Any questions, feel free to comment. If you'd like my wife to respond, get lost. She's very, no, I'm kidding. But any questions for us, just type it in. You've had an experience. The one thing I love about these YouTube videos is the comment section. You always can read down and find out people's different experiences. And I hope that if you do get in contact with COVID, and frankly, it's everywhere. The vaccine, I guess, will be coming out shortly, but they can shut down the whole world. That COVID's not going anywhere. And if you do experience it, let us know how you do. And any questions that we can help you with, we're certainly willing.
That's it.
All right. That's all, folks.